So the other day, me and my friend, who I think everybody knows, Hunter, decided to book WrestleMania 36. He put the card on his Twitter, and I thought it was pretty good, so we decided to book some storylines to it, and this is essentially what we booked. So me and Hunter decided that the best candidates for WrestleMania 36 host will be the Street Profits, partially because we got nothing else for them on this card. Um, so, with their role as being the host, they would interview legends and have give their thoughts on current day superstars and next matches, and have like little funny segments as well with it. So an example of that would be like before the triple threat, we'd have Stone Cold be interviewed to see how he thinks about Kevin Owens and how he uses the stunner a lot. And we'll say like I'm assuming that a rival of the Street Profits at this point would be the OC. I consider them a rival of the Street Profits, considering what's been going on recently with them on Raw. I'd say that they try to interrupt it and they get stunnered by Stone Cold. I think that'd be really funny. I think it'd be funny to see Montez Ford react to that. Because he just has the best reactions to everything. He's just oozing charisma with everything he does. So I think that'd be funny, and plus it still gives some WrestleMania moments to people that are not on the card by having them interrupt legends and the Street Profits during these interviews. So, puts a little funny thing on the card and gives us something to do with the Street Profits, even though they're not on the card. We didn't really have anything planned for the Women's Battle Royal besides the fact that Charlotte Flair wins it, and that'll come into play later, and I'll explain that for the Becky Lynch Shayna Baszler storyline that will happen later on in the show. So we decided to book a fatal four-way tag team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships between the New Day, the Usos, the Revival, and Heavy Machinery. What I wanted to have happen is there be a fluky finish at the end, have the New Day cover both Jimmy Uso and Scott Dawson via roll up, so that way it seems like a very fluky finish. And then we move on to the next show, so that way we have a triple threat tag team match, and we'll have the Usos or Revival win it there. But this is mainly to set up for the next pay per view. That's why it's on the pre show. So we have Fire and Desire against Kabuki Warriors. We just kind of put this match here because we don't really have anybody else to face the Kabuki Warriors. We don't feel like anybody else is really built up enough to face them. And there is really no other viable contender, so we just said screw it. We're putting them against the Kabuki Warriors. We're also gonna have the Kabuki Warriors win this match because you really want Fire and Desire to win the tag titles at least this early as well. Like they aren't really that built up to become champs yet. So the next match is the final match on the pre-show. We have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. In this match, we're gonna have Cesaro win it, and we're gonna explain why he wins afterwards. In the next one, he's gonna win by eliminating Braun Strowman, but it's key to put this at the end of the pre-show, in order to set up what happens next. And we'll get into that right now. So we move on to the main card of WrestleMania, and we start out with Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This build is going to go all the way back to the Royal Rumble, where Shinsuke is going to face Braun Strowman for the IC title, which is already confirmed. And Shinsuke is going to win clean, and he's going to beat Braun without the help of Sami and Cesaro at ringside, because they're going to be preparing for their entry into the Rumble. And Nakamura is also going to be a surprise entry into the Rumble. He's going to retain the title, but he's going to be a surprise entry into the Rumble. And he's going to eliminate Cesaro randomly. And Sami Zayn is going to try and check up on Cesaro. And while he's doing that with his back turned, Shinsuke is going to low blow Sami and then eliminate him. And that will start to cause tension within the stable of Nakamura, Cesaro, and Sami. So Sami Zayn is then the SmackDown afterwards. He's gonna tell Cesaro to stay backstage, and he's gonna go out and try and call out Shinsuke Nakamura. And Nakamura's gonna come out, and Nakamura is going to confront Sami, and Sami is then going to just kind of like ask why Shinsuke, why did you do this? We could have all went to the finals. We could have won the Rumble. Now Roman, one of us could have went on to face the Fiend at WrestleMania, but instead, no. You let this go awry. You let us lose. You're the reason why we're breaking up. Like we could have done so much. Why'd you ruin it? And then Shinsuke just replies that like they weren't help. Like, you guys didn't help me at all. I beat Braun Strowman by myself. I didn't need you. And then from there, Shinsuke just beats the hell out of Sami and tries breaking his knee. And then afterwards, Cesaro challenges Shinsuke on social media for the U.S. title at Elimination Chamber. And Shinsuke, in response, just goes, I'm going to make you face all these, a gauntlet of people week after week, in order for you to even get your match against me, because I'm just that damn good. Um, so Cesaro wins the gauntlet and he beats everybody. Sami Zayn's gonna be coming out with crutches every week, trying to sell the injury, and that's what we're gonna have happen for the build up to Elimination Chamber. So that way we could have Cesaro face Shinsuke at the Chamber. So at the Chamber, we're gonna have Shinsuke. While he's on the offense, he's gonna be taunting Sami Zayn to try and attack him. Trying to make fun of the fact that he's injured. And Shinsuke's gonna beat Cesaro clean. And after the match, he's just going to beat the hell out of Cesaro. And he's gonna be setting up for a Kinshasa when Sami drops the crutches, jumps into the ring, and hits him with a haluva kick, and then goes to beat him with the crutch, but Shinsuke gets out of there in time, escapes with the title, and just kind of looks in awe as Sami Zayn is able to walk again. As Sami Zayn will help Cesaro to the back as well. So on the SmackDown after Elimination Chamber, Sami Zayn challenges Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Shinsuke accepts, and in the weeks afterwards, Shinsuke just batters his opponents. He is vicious. It shows that he's going to be very vicious and angry at Sami Zayn. While they'll just build up. He's been training for a while dealing with this quote unquote injury. It's not yet going to be confirmed that it was faked or not. We're just gonna say that was definitely faked going into the chamber though. So Sami Zayn's been training for a while. He's known Shinsuke for a while, and he's kind of been studying his moves more and more. And he's not gonna make the same mistakes they did in NXT Takeover when Shinsuke debuted and he lost. So he has decided to take this vow of training hard in order to beat Shinsuke and learn his moves. And we could have him in a tag match here and there, but no singles matches until WrestleMania. His first singles match back is going to be against Shinsuke, WrestleMania, Intercontinental Championship, and he's going to win. And after he wins the match, he's going to go backstage, celebrate with all the indie guys that, they thought would never be in WWE in like the early 2010s, late 2000s. So he'll go back, celebrate Finn Balor, I guess. There'll be maybe Gargano will be backstage, Ciampa, uh, and then they at the end of the line we have Cesaro with the Andre Giant Memorial Trophy, and he just hugs Cesaro. And the only guy we're not gonna put in this line is Kevin Owens. The only reason for that is because we got a moment like that coming up later in the show. You just gotta stay tuned. It's gonna happen. They're best friends. It's always gonna happen. So we move on to the next match, which is going to be a 6-man ladder match for the United States Championship now. And how this build's gonna go is that on Elimination Chamber, it's gonna be announced that Rey Mysterio shall be facing Ricochet next night. And Andrade Cien Almas will be on commentary for the match. Also in the show will be Buddy Murphy versus Aleister Black. That match is going to end via countout as both of them
beat the hell out of each other on the outside and beat the hell out of each other going backstage. It's not going to imply that stops or anybody stops it. They're just going to keep beating the hell out of each other. And they're going to go into the main event without Andrade Cien Almas. And there's going to be a segment where Vince McMahon calls Zelina Vega into his office and asks her, "Where is Andrade?" And Zelina just says that he's out for personal reasons and leaves. And Vince McMahon just kind of looks angry and just doesn't really say anything. But in the match for number one contendership, in the middle of a match, Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black will just continue beating the hell out of each other going into the match. And Ricochet and Ray are just like, what's going on? So Ray goes over to Buddy, Ricochet goes over to Aleister, and they're just like, what are you doing? So Buddy super kicks Ray, and Aleister hits Black Mass on Ricochet, and then we just have Buddy and Aleister beat the hell out of each other going backstage again. And it's later announced that we're going to have a Fatal 4-Way match to decide number one contender for the United States Champion next week. Next week on Raw, we have Zelina again go to Vince McMahon. And Vince McMahon again asks, "Where's Andrade? He's supposed to be here on the show. I was going to talk to him about last week." And then Zelina says he's still out for personal reasons. And then Vince says, "Okay, well, since he hasn't texted me about it or called me about it, I assume that these reasons aren't as severe, and that he should show up here next week, or else he'll be, one, stripped of the title, and two, fired." And Zelina then walks out of the room very angry, and Vince is still angry because his U.S. champion has gone missing. And then we move on to the Fatal 4-Way match, where it's going to end double roll up. Ray's going to get pinned by Ricochet in a roll up, and Aleister is going to get pinned by Murphy in a roll up. Double counts, and they're both going to count to 3, and no one's going to know what the hell happened. And Vince McMahon, he gives like a statement that says like everything's going to be worked out next week on Raw. So in this week, we're gonna have Zelina and Andrade start off the show, and Zelina's gonna say, "Well, Vince, he's here. He doesn't have that much time. He's the U.S. champion after all. He's got a lot of meetings. He's got a lot of things to do. So come out and explain what you wanted him here for." And Vince McMahon comes out and he's just like, "Andrade, why weren't you here?" And Andrade replies, "Personal reasons." And Vince McMahon just kind of turns and looks at him and he just says, "You know what? I've been hearing personal reasons a lot from you lately. And I've heard it all my life. And it's about guys who don't want to show up to the shows. They just want to stay away. They want to stay away from WWE as much as possible so that way they can be the champion as much as possible. Well, you know what, pal? You're not at that level. You're the U.S. champion. You have no leverage over me. Because you know what? I was going to come out here and fire you and strip you of the title, and there will be nothing you can do about it. However, I have decided to come up with a better idea. Because you missed the first week, you are now going to be in a match against all 4 competitors from the week before, because it was a double pin and there was no decisive winner. So you're going to be in a match against all of them and someone I picked. And because you missed the second week, that match is not only going to be at WrestleMania, but it's also going to be a ladder match. And Zelina and Andrade are just like screaming, and Zelina just screams, "You can't do this to us." So on the Raw before WrestleMania, everybody's on ladders, like on the build up to Money in the Bank 2016, where they're all on ladders, except for one. One ladder is just no one's on there, and just randomly set up. And on the segment, they have Zelina Vega. Well, everybody's talking, but Zelina Vega is like building up Andrade. And during that, Alistair's kind of like staring at them, kind of like not paying attention. And because of that, that allows Buddy Murphy to get off the ladder and say, "Screw this, I want to fight." So he low blows Aleister Black, and that starts a brawl. which ends with Cedric coming from the crowd and hitting a lumbar check to Andrade outside the ring. And everybody's like, "Whoa, Cedric's back!" Because he was injured, and we'll discuss on how he got injured. But we're all gonna be like, "Whoa, he's back!" And Vince McMahon's later gonna say he's in the match. And at WrestleMania, Buddy Murphy's gonna win. And if you want to build a feud afterwards, have him, I guess, take Cedric off the ladder and win the match. Because I think a feud between Cedric and Buddy Murphy for a title that's not the Cruiserweight Championship on the main roster would be awesome. So the next match we got is AOP versus the Viking Raiders. This match kind of just happens because the Viking Raiders are just kind of saving Kevin Owens and everybody. Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, and AOP are beating down. So they just pretty much have a match for a title. There's nothing really that much else to it. Also, AOP wins. So this next one, Mustafa Ali versus Sheamus, went way too far off the rails. I was not expecting that. So stay tuned for just this amazing little rivalry we came up with. So it starts out with Sheamus after the Rumble. He just goes week after week battering jobbers. And eventually, on the week before Elimination Chamber, the go home show, he faces Mustafa Ali, and Mustafa Ali just does not want to fight Sheamus, so he just rolls out of the ring, goes to the back. He's just like, I'm not falling for this. And then at the Elimination Chamber, he challenges Sheamus at WrestleMania. And Sheamus's response is, okay, well, I'm going to make your life a living hell because you didn't want to fight me. And you'll see just how much shit you brought upon yourself. So, in response to this challenge, we see that the Raw before after Elimination Chamber, Cedric Alexander was beaten up backstage. And on SmackDown, we get a video from the parking lot which shows Sheamus going to Raw and beating the hell out of Cedric Alexander. And it's he's kind of just attacking Mustafa Ali's friends, and Mustafa Ali picks up on this when all of a sudden Chad Gable goes missing. And this is where the plot thickens. So in the clause from the week before when Chad Gable decided to challenge Sheamus, he also put in a clause that neither of them can fight each other before WrestleMania. They can't attack each other, they can't do anything. And so Sheamus decides to kidnap Chad Gable. And this is revealed when next week on SmackDown we have these little vignettes of Sheamus just torturing Chad Gable backstage. Mustafa Ali spends all these weeks trying to find him. And so we have this like one segment where Sheamus comes into the room with food from catering, offers it to Chad Gable, and when Chad Gable can't accept it, he spills the food on Chad Gable's head, and then Bro kicks him out of the chair. And on the go home show, we'll have Chad Gable secretly be freed by Mustafa Ali, and Chad Gable finally fights back against Sheamus, and Sheamus eventually just destroys Chad Gable, but lets him free, and kind of just says, "I'll see you at WrestleMania, Mustafa." And then we get to WrestleMania where Sheamus will win against Mustafa Ali. We'll give it a little bit of a longer match. Get some moves in for Mustafa Ali, so that way it doesn't seem like Sheamus is as dominant as he was before. You know, make it seem like he's a little bit humbled. But yeah, I think that you can build up that Sheamus is just a brutal and awful person, and I'd like to see that in a character for Sheamus. So this match, we're gonna have the build be Joe eliminates Drew from the Rumble, and then Drew eliminates Joe from the Elimination Chamber, and then Joe calls out Drew, and then later on, it's announced by the GM that or whoever type authority figure will be on Raw that they're gonna face at WrestleMania, and Drew's just gonna win at WrestleMania. There's not gonna be that much to this, but I think it should be later in the card because I mean, it's Drew McIntyre and Samoa Joe. So we're gonna start the teasing for this rivalry. Like one of the build up weeks to Elimination Chamber where Bailey's gonna like cut from about how she's better than everybody else, and then Sasha's just gonna be like, "Well, you never beat me on the main roster," and then Bailey's gonna be like, "Yeah, but why would I fight you? You're my friend," and then we go to Elimination Chamber where both of them will be in the chamber match. Funnily enough, the last two in that match will be Sasha and Bailey, and Sasha's gonna be like, "Oh, you're my friend," and then they're gonna hug in the ring, and then Bailey's gonna turn that into a Bailey the Belly win with it. I know she doesn't do the Bailey the Belly anymore because it's too kid friendly of a move, but I don't care. That's the only move she can do in a stance like that. So I think that that would be cool to see Bailey's turn on Sasha like that. For the build up afterwards, we're gonna have Sasha kind of just be Bailey's kind of servant, and like Bailey's gonna make it, and Sasha doesn't stop because she wants to still be Bailey's friend. So it's gonna start off like minor things like, "Hey, can you get my boots? They're like across the room," and then it's gonna escalate a little bit to like, "Oh, can you get food from catering?" And like, "Oh, can you do a match for me?" And then it's gonna be like, "Oh, can you do like 90% of this match because I gotta fix my ring gear that's easy to fix." And it's gonna keep escalating to that. And eventually what's gonna happen is Sasha and Bailey are gonna be in a tag match, and Sasha's gonna take the pin because she'll be in the match for most of it. And then Bailey's gonna grab a mic, pissed off, and just go over and just scream at Sasha, saying that she's done everything for this tag team, she's done everything for this friendship, and that Sasha has given her nothing back. And Bailey's gonna throw the belt on the ground and then scream, "Pick up the belt and put it around my waist, because you'll never, ever get to wear that championship belt like I'm gonna do, like I always will be doing." And Sasha, like, reluctantly will just pick up the belt, kind of look at it for a second, and then Bailey's gonna scream at her to do it. And then Sasha's gonna start putting it around Bailey's waist, and then she's going to just attack Bailey afterwards and just kind of turn on Bailey because she's done with putting up with all this bullshit and she doesn't want to be Bailey's servant anymore. And Bailey just kind of takes it because she's not expecting it. And then the next week, we're going to have Sasha challenge Bailey at WrestleMania, which Bailey will accept later in the night. And that'll lead us into the match at WrestleMania. So, at WrestleMania, Sasha's gonna bring Snoop Dogg to there, and they're gonna announce him on the loudspeaker, and everybody's gonna cheer for him because he's Snoop Dogg and he's a Hall of Famer for some reason. Um, but Sasha's gonna go over, hug him before the match. Bailey's gonna put the title above his head before the match, and then they're gonna have a pretty good match because it's Sasha Banks versus Bailey. They can pretty much do whatever, but I feel like the finish should be like Bailey's getting her finisher on Sasha, and then Bailey's gonna run out, and instead of pinning Sasha because she thinks that she'll have the match in hand, like Triple H did against Booker T, that she could wait like 17 hours. So she's gonna run out and she's gonna punch Snoop Dogg in the face, and then just kind of gloat about it, and like we'll say like she does Sasha Banks' little taunt, and then she runs back into the ring and tries to go pin Sasha, and Sasha instead rolls up Bailey, and Bailey will be down for a 3 count, but Sasha will stop. Sasha will stop at 2, so that way she can beat the hell out of Bailey, and then she'll eventually block it a really, really vicious bank statement that will go really far back. Um, and Bailey will tap out. Sasha will finally get a WrestleMania moment, and I think that'd be cool. That'd be a cool way to have Sasha and Bailey have a nice little rivalry. And I think it'd be a great way to wrap up this little friendship thing because this has been building for a while. And I remember WWE tried executing this in 2018, I believe, and they failed terribly. So I think that this way would work a lot more better. So this rivalry starts forming over rivalries that we're going to be talking about in the next couple matches. So you gotta stay tuned for that. But here's where we have where they start facing each other. So what we're gonna have in the weeks coming is that we're gonna have Baron Corbin kind of make fun of Daniel Bryan for getting injured and almost having his MCL ACL torn by the Miz with the chair spot from Elimination Chamber, which will be explained about in Miz Morrison rivalry. Um, but pretty much week after week, Baron Corbin's gonna try and like injure people that way. Um, and that's just what he's gonna do. He's gonna try and just injure everybody on the roster, or every jobber on the roster like that. So on the last week, the go home show, we're gonna have Baron Corbin face one of Daniel Bryan's friends, which we'll just say in this case will be Kalisto. Um, because apparently he's on the SmackDown roster. I had no idea. But we'll just say he faces Kalisto, and he'll put Kalisto in a similar situation to what Bryan was in, and we'll have Kalisto, like Baron Corbin's about to break his leg, and then Daniel Bryan comes down, makes the save, beats down Baron Corbin until Baron Corbin leaves the ring, helps Kalisto to the back afterwards, and on YouTube or social media or whatever, um, Daniel Bryan will just say, Baron Corbin, I challenge you to a match at WrestleMania, and then Baron Corbin will go on the NXT pre-show and accept it, or on the WrestleMania pre-show. I think it'd be better if he did it on the NXT pre-show. And I get it, we're using at this point, we're using the NXT pre-show for a lot, and you'll know more about what we do in the NXT pre-show in the Miz Morrison rivalry. But I think it works better. So at WrestleMania, we'll have a pretty even match between them up until the end. We'll have some pretty cool spots of like uh, Daniel Bryan reverses the end of days into a label lock, or we have the running knee reversed into a deep six. But we're gonna end the match with Daniel Bryan is going to have Baron Corbin on the floor, and he's gonna take a chair. He's gonna put it into his leg, and he's finally, because this spot's been teased like several times to this point, he's finally gonna stomp on it, and he's gonna break Baron Corbin's knee, blocking a heel hook, and Baron Corbin's gonna immediately tap out. And I think that'd be cool to show Daniel Bryan overcoming a huge enemy. But I don't know if this severely kills Baron Corbin. I'd say it kind of partially does, but I mean, he had a match against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, so I don't say that kills him. And it was also even. So, and it's also late in the card, so I don't know. But I feel like this could be a pretty good moment for both superstars, especially since it's another Daniel Bryan win at WrestleMania, and Baron Corbin goes up against a high-profile main eventer. So to start off this part of the rivalry, we're gonna have Shayna win the Rumble, and Becky's gonna kind of undermine that and be like, "Oh well, Charlotte is better, and Charlotte's gonna be added to the match because she's gonna face you at Elimination Chamber. So we'll see who's better at WrestleMania, me or Charlotte." She'll just kind of undermine Shayna entirely, and we'll have Shayna have a jobber match one week where Becky's on commentary and she's like yelling at the commentators about how good Charlotte is and how bad Shayna is, and she's gonna turn back, look at the ring, and see that the bell was wrong and that the jobber's like dead. Um, and then we head into Elimination Chamber. So at this pay per view, we're gonna have Charlotte face Shayna, as I said before, and Becky's also gonna be on commentary for this match. And Becky's gonna watch this match this time, and she's gonna be like building up how Charlotte's so much better, and that that Shayna has no chance, especially since Charlotte's gonna be added to the mix now apparently. And she's gonna like just stop as soon as the match starts because the entire match will just be pretty much like Survivor Series 2000 and was it 18, where Charlotte faced Ronda Rousey, except Ronda Rousey is Shayna Baszler and the roles are reversed. It's just gonna be complete death of Charlotte Flair, except they'll also be no DQ. Um, so Charlotte Flair will pretty much die. She'll be bloody. She'll end the match passed out, and then Shayna's just gonna stare at Becky and go to the back afterwards. So the entire buildup of Shayna versus Becky is just gonna be Becky kind of just avoiding Shayna at all points and doing whatever she needs to like get away from Shayna. And in the last week, the go home show, Shayna's gonna find Becky, drag her out to the ring, and just say, "I'm gonna do worse to you than I did with Charlotte." And then Becky's gonna be like, "Wait, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" And then like Shayna's just gonna turn around and just scream, "I'm gonna beat the Rollins out of you," and then just walks to the back. I think that would get a great reaction out of the crowd. Considering that half the crowd hates Becky, and also everyone knows that she's fucking Seth at this point. So at WrestleMania, Shayna is going to pretty much kill Becky, and after she gets a lot of offense in, Becky will start to come back. She'll like do a couple of big moves and like get the disarmor locked in, but before she's able to get in, Shayna will pull her back and put her in the Karafuda, and that will end the match. She'll just pass out right there. I think that that would build up Shayna as a really tough competitor, and would put her back into the role that she was in NXT.
So this rivalry is going to start at the Royal Rumble, where the Miz and Morrison are going to face off against the New Day. I'm assuming that that's the direction they're going in. I don't know, but we're going to have that happen, and Morrison's going to take the pin. And once Morrison takes the pin, we're gonna have the Miz cut promo about how he like is sad for the teammate. He's like very sad about this whole thing. And when Morrison gets him, he just like walks over to him. He's just gonna be like, "Well, I'm just really sad that Morrison can't handle the pressure of being in an elite tag team, and he can't be in the big time, and that's why he left originally." And then Morrison's gonna be like, "What the hell?" And then Miz is gonna hit a reality check on him because we're gonna bring that move back, and he's gonna turn on Morrison that way. So on the SmackDown afterwards, Miz will host the Miz TV and kind of just discuss about how he's always been the better half of Miz and Morrison. He's the HBK to Morrison's Marty Jannetty, and that he's always had greater success. He never had to leave for success. He never had to turn to the Indies. And speaking about the Indies, there's a guy that faced The Fiend named Daniel Bryan. He lost to The Fiend at the Royal Rumble. And Miz is like really angry about this because Daniel Bryan promised The Miz that he was going to beat The Fiend for his family. He was going to beat The Fiend so that way he can stop this tournament on Miz's family and all this other crap. And Daniel Bryan failed. And he's going to call out Daniel Bryan and just be like, "You lied to me. I could be in The Fiends, blah, blah, blah. I would have done it if you told me that you can't do it." And, he'd just go on a tirade about how much Daniel Bryan let him and the rest of the roster down. And then after that, next week, Daniel Bryan will come out and just kind of say, "Well, you never beat the regular version of Bray Wyatt. You never beat the, watered down version of Bray. I could have beat that Bray because I almost beat The Fiend several times. You couldn't even beat the watered down. What makes you think that you could beat The Fiend? This man just has no remorse for anyone." And Miz will just kind of be angry about this and just call out Daniel Bryan for a match at Elimination Chamber on Twitter. And that's how we get to Daniel Bryan versus The Miz at Elimination Chamber. So at the Chamber, we're going to have Daniel Bryan win. And Miz, out of frustration, will go to the back. And when Daniel Bryan starts celebrating on the stage, Miz will come back out with a chair and beat the hell out of Daniel Bryan with the chair. And then he'll try putting Daniel Bryan's leg in the chair. And right when he's about to stomp on it, John Morrison returns, makes a save, beats down Miz with a kendo stick. And before he's able to do more damage to the Miz runs backstage. And Morrison helps Daniel Bryan back to the backstage to get looked at by medical staff. So as discussed earlier, this is where Daniel Bryan's storyline with King Corbin kicks off. But for Miz and Morrison, they'll just have brawls everywhere. They'll try to have a contract signing for WrestleMania. They'll have a brawl. They'll try and just be going out with their families and stuff, and they'll have a brawl at those restaurants and stuff. Not even just at WWE. They just go everywhere and just beat the living hell out of each other everywhere. And they'll be ended off with a match on the Go Home show, which will decide a stipulation for their match at WrestleMania. And that match will end double count out because they'll beat the hell out of each other all the way to the backstage. And then it will be announced that the match type will be 3 stages of hell. So we'll also have this little contract signing, so that way they announce which matches they're doing. So we'll do that on the pre-show of TakeOver because nothing really happens on the pre-show of TakeOver anyways. So on the pre-show of TakeOver, both of them come out, and they're being regulated by a lot of security and stuff, so that way they don't fight each other. And Miz announces his match will be a finishers match. And Morrison announces that his match will be an Extreme Rules match. And the third match will be decided by Vince McMahon. So they sign the contract, and then they have to sign what their finishers are. Morrison says that, my Starship Pain is always going to be better than your little skull-crushing finale anyways, because I can execute much more better and much more faster than you could ever execute any of your other moves. And Miz says, well, it's a good thing that I'm not using the skull-crushing finale, and then gets up, just beats down Morrison, and then hits him with a reality check, and writes down on the sheet that his finisher is a reality check. So at WrestleMania, we're going to have the first fall be the finishers match. And that match will have both of them trying to hit their finishers early. Miz goes for a reality check. He goes for the knee, runs off the ropes, tries to hit Morrison in the head with the knee. Then Morrison rolls him up, quickly goes to the turnbuckle, tries to do Starship Pain, and Miz rolls out of the way. That's how we start the match. And we'll give this match a little bit of time. So we'll have just Morrison sets up Starship Pain in the corner to finish this fall. And Miz rolls out of the way and quickly hits Morrison in the head, reality check, and Morrison just starts complaining. He's just like, what the hell? I didn't expect that. That's not right. I can't do this. And he'll be angry because he didn't realize that he just lost the fall to the reality check, and he thinks that's a terrible move. So he starts complaining about how bad the move is. And they award the fall to the Miz, and once that's announced that the second fall of Extreme Rules is happening, Morrison will just beat the hell out of the Miz, and it will start another brawl for a while, and Morrison will eventually win this fall. I think we could have a couple cool spots, like Morrison, if the stage is built like this, we could have Morrison do Sasha Pain off the stage to Miz through a table. I think that'd be funny. So we could have little spots like that. And then it will be announced, the final match is a knockouts match. And the way that's going to end is we're going to have the Extreme Rules match go on the longest. So this one's not going to go on that long. We'll have this one go on as long as the finishers match, which I'd say would be 5-6 minutes. So it's going to end with Morrison eventually handcuffing Miz to the ring post and then laying in on him until Miz gets knocked out and he's just a pool of his own blood. And, Morrison just spits on him and goes to the back once he's announced the winner. And I think that'd be a great way to show the animosity between them, how much they hate each other, and all that other stuff, which I think would be pretty cool. And it would completely actually have a proper Miz versus Morrison rivalry, because we never had that before. I feel like we were robbed of that back in 2010 when they initially broke up, or 2009. When they broke up because of the draft and then Miz turned on him and nothing happened out of that. I think it'd be cool if we actually gave them a rivalry this time.
So, to start this rivalry off, we're going to have Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens be the last two in the Elimination Chamber. And what's going to happen is AOP is going to break into the chamber, beat the hell out of Kevin Owens, and then Kevin Owens is going to lose because of that. And then next night on Raw, Kevin Owens is going to come out and challenge Seth Rollins to a rematch, which he will be granted. But if Kevin Owens wins this time, he'll get added to the match at WrestleMania. So in that match, we're gonna have Brock Lesnar run in on the main event, which is that match, and he's going to F5 Kevin Owens and then beat the hell out of Seth Rollins. And gonna beat up Seth Rollins worse because he lost to Seth Rollins last year. So he's gonna beat the hell out of Seth Rollins worse, and that'll set up the angle because next week it'll be announced Kevin Owens is in the match because he won via disqualification. So after this, every week will just be Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins confronting each other with promos by having their allies kind of run in on them during the promos and stuff. Until the go home show when AOP is going to try and run in on Kevin Owens, but then Brock Lesnar appears out of the crowd, hops the barricade, double clotheslines AOP, and then Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens are just going to look back and just be like, "Oh crap!" And then Brock Lesnar's going to run into the ring, start beating the hell out of them, and AOP is eventually going to get in. And the Viking Raiders, and then it's just going to turn into a WCW style go home show where just the entire pay per view brawls over each other. And I think that would be cool. And it makes sense that the main title match of Raw would be the one to do it. Um, so I think that this would be a cool way to set the match at WrestleMania to be shown as the big one that kind of breaks the ice and decides a lot of stuff for Raw. So we'll have some moments in the match where Brock Lesnar just beats down on both of them, but uh, every now and then they'll get Brock Lesnar out and have their own little moments of fighting between Owens and Rollins. But eventually it's gonna climax at when Lesnar has Rollins up for F5 and AOP rush the ring randomly. No one expects it because they had a match earlier tonight. And they beat down on Lesnar and they pull him out of the ring. And Rollins kind of gets in there as well. And they just beat down Lesnar. And Owens, he's been out of the fray for a little bit at this point. I'd say he gets hit with curb stomp, rolls out. He'll go to the top rope, hit a senton on everybody except for Rollins. Rollins will escape, get into the ring, and Owens will notice this. So before he does like a shout thing that people usually do when they do a senton on top of people, he notices Seth Rollins is in the ring, goes in, he gets hit with curb stop immediately. Rollins tries to go for a quick cover, 1-2 kick out. Then Rollins will start thinking that Owens is kind of like Brock Lesnar, so he's gonna hit 3 curb stomps on Kevin Owens, and everybody's gonna be booing during this. And eventually, Owens is gonna pop him up for a stunner, and he's gonna win off that. And Owens is gonna celebrate by taking the title up the ramp, where Sami Zayn and Cesaro will be waiting with him, and they're gonna embrace on the ramp and just celebrate that these guys that no one thought would go to WWE because they were indie darlings, they finally made it and they're at the top of the mountain. Which is why Kevin Owens was not on the line earlier tonight when Sami Zayn was going over to all the indie guys. So I feel like this kind of wraps up the Brock Lesnar as champion, and I think it kind of just finishes off Seth Rollins as a top heel on Raw, move him over to SmackDown, make him top heel there, and we'll see what we can do with Kevin Owens after that. Because I think the main thing here is that we have to put the title on Kevin Owens because he is one of the hottest guys on the Raw roster right now. So the next match we got here is Randy Orton versus AJ Styles, career versus career match. And I think that this one's already there. I know there's not that much build, but like, come on, you're telling me that right now you're not hyped to see Randy Orton face AJ Styles in a career versus career match, like as it's already been built. So I think what we need to do, they have one match every week from Elimination Chamber to WrestleMania. They have one match on a live show every week, and like they recap it, and there's like a little thing where they best each other. So like one week the phenomenal form will be countered into an RKO, or like they find a way to like counter the DDT into a so that way AJ Styles gets out of it and puts himself for a Styles Clash, little things like that. And at the show, we have that match go on 20 minutes, push the limit as much as possible on everything, because at this point they should know each other from every in-ring move they can do. So they push the limit to see how far they can go, and it will just probably be the best match because they've been wrestling each other for like 4 weeks in a row now, at least 4 weeks in a row. So we have Randy Orton win the match because AJ Styles is going out on his contract anyways. So we have Orton and AJ, they try to shake hands. And then the OC come out and they're just like, man, AJ, why are you shaking this nerd's hand? I don't know if they'll do that. They'll probably come up with something cooler. But, we just have them come out and they're like, whoa, why are you shaking Randy Orton's hand? He's a bit of a douche. And AJ's like, well, he's pretty good. He beat me. I gotta shake his hand. He's earned my respect. And then Randy Orton's like, yeah, I mean, it's respectful now. We don't hate each other that much. I bested him. He pulled out the best in me. And it was just that I was a little bit better. And then the OC are like, yeah, well, we'll show you respect. And he just beat the hell out of him. And AJ tries calling him off by pushing Gallows away. And then Gallows is just like, starts beating the hell out of AJ. And then Anderson turns his back and looks at it. He's just like, Gallows, why the hell are you beating the hell out of AJ? And then while Gallows turns to him, Orton hits Anderson an RKO. Before Gallows is able to recover and start beating the hell out of Orton, he gets hit with an RKO too. Then Orton helps AJ out off his back up the stage, and they shake hands on the stage again, and Orton goes to the back. And then Styles gets his little moment on the stage, puts his arms out to the crowd, and does the little thing with his hands with the phenomenal pose, and soaks in he's leaving. This is the last match. He's not gonna fight again, but he knows he's going back to his family, so everything's gonna be fine. And then we have a retirement speech for him next night on Raw.
So to start this rivalry off, we're gonna have Roman win the Rumble. And I know how controversial that is, but we're gonna have Roman win the Rumble, and after he's done celebrating, we get the interviewer in the ring, and they're like, "Who you gonna face at WrestleMania? Do you know?" And Roman's gonna say, "Yeah, I know. I'm gonna go for the title that I never lost. I'm gonna go for Bray Wyatt's Universal Championship." And he says it so confidently, and then all of a sudden the lights go out, and then they come back on. Bray Wyatt just murders Roman with the mandible claw. So we're gonna have Roman finish off his rivalry with Baron Corbin after this, just so that way we can get that out of the way. So we're gonna have Roman face Corbin at Elimination Chamber. We're not gonna have the Fiend attack him all that much. We're just gonna kind of build up that Roman's not ready for the Fiend with Baron Corbin kind of taunting him and being like, "I should be able to be in that match. I should be in the match," and then Roman's like, "Nah, son, you suffer in succotash, son." And then at the Elimination Chamber, we're gonna have Roman puts his title match against the Fiend on the line against Baron Corbin, and he'll beat Baron Corbin so that way we can finally finish that rivalry. And then from there, the Fiend will absolutely murder Roman Reigns again. I almost said Bray Wyatt. Uh, so we'll absolutely murder him, and like that's just gonna be the tone set for the rest of the SmackDown. So every single time Roman's on SmackDown, something new kind of happens. So one of them, Roman will be ready for it, and then he'll hit him with Superman punch. He'll fall back. He'll be on the floor, and Roman's gonna be like, "Yeah, I did it. I beat the Fiend." And then he's gonna turn around, kind of taunts the crowd. But while he's around,
he's gonna get up into the spider walk. He's gonna turn back around. And he's gonna just fall over and stare at him, and the Fiend's just gonna be able to have this control over Roman, and apply like one, he's got control over Roman, and two, he's dominant. And that's what we're gonna build up from Elimination Chamber to WrestleMania. Every single time Roman's in the match, after or during the match, the Fiend will interfere, and he'll do something like that. So at WrestleMania, the first 10 minutes of the match are just gonna be all Fiend and no bit of offense from Roman, just all Fiend. And we're not gonna have the Fiend hit the Mandible Claw at all yet. We're not gonna have him hit until like the end of the match. So after 10 minutes, he hits Sister Abigail, goes to recover, 1, 2, kick out. The next 10 minutes of the match, the Fiend's gonna get a little sloppy, so it's gonna be a little even, but mainly Fiend offense. And then we're gonna have him hit Sister Abigail again, 1, 2, kick out. After this next kick out, the Fiend's gonna get really angry and he's just gonna go to the top rope. And he's gonna stall at the top rope, not knowing what to do for a little bit. Because he just knew that he's got to hit something from the top rope. And that'll give Roman enough time to get over to the top rope, climb up it, and catch the Fiend, do a Samoan drop to him through the ring, cover 1, 2, kick out. So after this, we're gonna have the Fiend go under the ring. He may be under the ring for a while, but we're gonna have Roman go out of the ring, over the mat, and we're gonna have him like kind of like make it seem like he's really hurting. He's like in awe because putting someone through the ring always ends the match, and Roman just does not know what else he's got to do. And then the Fiend will appear at the other side of the ring. Um, and the reason that we have him under the ring is so that way he can switch out mask, which will come in handy later. But it's pretty much the same mask. No one notices the change. And then Roman will go for a spear. He'll start running for a spear, but he'll be running really slow. And because of that, the Fiend's gonna catch him into a mandible claw. So from here, we'll have like a hope spot with Roman, and it'll be like a horror movie thing where like he's like just barely out of grasp of like a sledgehammer or some shit, and he'll like try to pull himself over to the sledgehammer without passing out. He'll try to do that, and he'll like it'll be like something that like makes him seem like impossible. And as he does that, when he finally gets to it, he'll hit the Fiend on the side of the head with it, and the mask will start to crack, and we'll see like the Fiend like start to like kind of roll on the floor in pain and stuff, and like make him like hold every single bit of his body that has been affected as his run as the Fiend, so that way like it seems like the pain's starting to finally get to him. And the thing that was holding it back was the mask. So then from there, we have Roman Superman punch the mask several times until it finally comes off. And when it finally comes off, he'll be in pure agonizing pain. And Roman will hit a spear with a chair and win the match that way. And I think that's the only way. That's the only way we can get Roman over in this scenario, is having a very long match where the Fiend gets 90% of the offense and makes it seem like Roman is truly the victim here. Um, I would say like the little bits of offense that Roman does get in after the first 10 minutes, I feel like those little bits of offense should seem like they hurt. But then again, we also have to play up that the Fiend has been absorbing all this pain that's just finally starting to come back down on him. That's really important. But I think that this would really work if it's done like that. Um, I don't expect the fans to entirely like Roman, but I think from here we can make an entirely new Fiend character, and I think that that would be cool to give Roman a title without totally burying the Fiend.
All right, so this is the end of the video. Holy crap, it's long. But thank you guys for watching all the way to the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, please. I need more people to watch this because I need YouTube views to make myself feel better. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Much more predictions videos and booking videos will be coming out soon. As soon as I get the chance to make them. This has taken weeks, so a lot of the predictions are already wrong. So, hope you guys enjoyed though, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.